proof is when you put that thing in the dirt. When you start cultivating that dirt with that wheel hoe, you'll never go back. This chard is just beautiful. I'll harvest some pretty soon here. We just harvested some lettuce last night. Had a great salad. Look at the size of this leaf on that lettuce. I mean, you really can't ask for any better than that. That's beautiful. That lettuce over there too. Look at that. I mean, look at these leaves. Is that awesome or what? Need to clean that up down there. Always clean up the bottom of your lettuce plants when you've been harvesting. Those leaves right there will rot. And you don't want that. You don't want that. Feed that to your chickens. Who would have ever thought that we would have had a frost on April the 1st? I guess it was April the 2nd. No, yesterday, April the 3rd. Right, 3rd of April. And we had frost, and a heavy frost too. But you know, we did the best of what we had. You know, we covered things up, and I think we survived. You know, we got a few plants that probably didn't make it. But that's going to be okay. We're going to be okay, and you know, all of that. Yeah, I remember one time, it was either in 1984 or 1980, we had snow. I was just a kid, but we had snow in April. Matter of fact, I think it was April Fool's Day that we had snow at my mother's house. And it was another crazy year. I really don't remember anything other than that, but it snowed April the 1st. I think it was 1980 or 1984. But yeah, it doesn't happen often. You know, normally March 15th for our area, for 8B, we are done with frost. But this year we had to do some extra work, and it's okay. There's you some grass. There's you some grass. Have some grass. Need some fresh water. It's time to do some pruning on the tomatoes. They're really getting pretty big. So y'all come hang out with me while I prune some tomatoes. Not only am I pruning, but I'm getting suckers also. We got quite a bit of foliage here, and we're starting to set blossoms up here. So I really don't fool around. You know, we're trying to grow tomatoes. I've said it before in previous videos. We're trying to grow tomatoes, not leaves. So I am quite aggressive when it comes to pruning. I see that looks a lot better. See, I got rid of a lot of foliage down low. We do have some rain coming in, and what can happen with a lot of foliage is you'll get the rain splashing back up off of the ground, which is where disease lives. Fungal, viral diseases live in the ground. They're splashing back up on the bottom side of the leaves. you're going to have issues. When you're pruning these plants up, you don't have to be super selective, right? We know what the goal is. The plant has to do photosynthesis, so we got to leave some leaves. But we want most of the energy expended in production of fruit. So we get rid of suckers and we get rid of lower leaves. And we do a single stem. So we'll have one primary stem, and then fruit trusses will come off of that primary stem. What you're looking at right here is what's called a mega bloom, and it's actually multiple flowers all together. So there are multiple male portions and multiple female portions within the same flower. We're not allowing any mega blooms on any of our tomatoes. Cherokee purples are very famous for producing mega blooms, but mega blooms take up a tremendous amount of energy from the plant to produce that tomato. So we're not going to allow that to happen. We want a regular round tomato. So yeah, we're just not going to allow that. So whenever we find a mega bloom, we will just take it off, and then it can put its energy into the other blossoms.
This thing right here is a sunflower cluster. We had sunflowers out here last year right in front of the compost pile, and they went 13 feet. So if you can imagine, see that post right there? They were higher than that. So they obviously seeded, and now that popped up. I think it got hit by the frost and split, but you can see we got some little ones coming up as well. Not thrilled, but we'll take them because I have more plants to plant. I'm going to show you some things that did not come back and, well, haven't come back yet. This stick right here is a Moringa. And I know we've talked about Moringa before. That has not come back yet, and I'm a little sad about that, but I think it'll be fine. I have some more plants coming. Supposedly, if you pack it with mulch when it's little like that, it should come back the next year, but it hasn't, and that's okay because I have one that has, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So on to the next and most exciting is my Echinacea. I did do a whole tray of Echinacea seeding this year, but I didn't really have to because these seeded, and most of what you're seeing is from last year, which is pretty cool. They are so lush and green, and I even have a flower. Let me see if I can find it. There it is, right there. That is going to be blooming in the next, hopefully in this next week. Supposedly Echinacea does not bloom in the first year from seeds, and I had quite a few last year, so that was exciting. But I did plant some yellow Echinacea, which is these little guys. Let's see if I can point at them. These little guys here. They will be a different leaf variation and have yellow flowers, so that's pretty cool. So I plan to use them for tea blends. Then we have our beautiful rosemary right there. That has grown. It was in a pot for the longest time, and I decided to put it in there. These beauties, and you can see they're budding. That is Calendula. And just a little side note, I used to call it Calendula, and I thought it was funny till I saw a lady online called it Calendula, which I thought was really funny. I did grow a whole tray of them from seed, and they are popping up buds like crazy, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm just excited about this garden. Then we have my chamomile. Last year a chamomile grew in the tomato plants and it went crazy, and I didn't believe it was chamomile till it started blooming, and so I did a whole tray of these as well, and they are flourishing. Even after that frost we had, I covered them up with buckets, and some of them that I'll show you in a little bit have already started blooming, which is pretty cool. I have 2 pots in the back that already I've picked off of. So that is another Moringa. That was the main one that we had last year that just gave me leaves like crazy, and it hasn't budded anything yet, so we'll see what happens. A couple more chamomile, and we have some lavender that we had in a pot last year, and I threw it in the ground and it just looked like it was going to die. As you can see, some of this dead woody, but from what I understand, that's good, and now it is blooming like crazy. That's pretty cool. So I've already harvested some, and it's in the kitchen drying. Have some more echinacea and sunflowers, as well as lavender that I haven't decided where to put yet. So they're kind of just stuck there for now. And I don't know if y'all have seen anything like this, but you know what that is. That's aloe. And it makes these beautiful flowers. They don't last very long, but they grow really fast, and the hummingbirds and the bees love them. So next, you might see these things kind of filtered around the yard. I'm trying to gift them as much as possible. That is that ornamental ginger that we had over there in front of the compost pile last year, and it was way tall, and it had these beautiful white, very fragrant flowers. So we dug them up, and I decided to pot them, and they all died back for the winter, even in the greenhouse, and now they are leafing up like crazy, and I'm trying to gift them every time somebody buys something. So this bed right here is oregano. We grew it last year. It was looking kind of scraggly, so I dug it up, put some fresh dirt, and literally just plopped what I dug up down into the fresh dirt, and it's going crazy. So, but as you know, oregano, spearmint, any kind of mints, lemon balm, they take over. So that has its own little house right there. Then we come over here to the basil. I did seed some basil this year, tons of it. And I put some in. As you can see, it is burned from the frost that we had. But as you can see also, look at all the babies. Totally did not expect to see all those babies. But there they are, and I'm excited because we do a lot of basil, and I dry it, and it's yummy. Then we have the Swiss chard that Brian threw out here, and it's going nuts too. Just something else to go with our lettuce and spinach and spearmint and more lettuce. Love to be able to come out here and just pick off the ground and have it for dinner. So next thing we have is our lemon balm. This is a favorite of mine because I make tea blends with it. Lemon balm is a calming plant. It helps with anxiety, things like that. That's what I've read. And so I blend it with my chamomile and elderberry to give a little boost. All right, next we have some more lavender some more oregano that I had taken out. Look at that hawk. 2 hawks, honey. They're circling the chickens. So we're back here with the oregano that I had dug out and put in pots because I was going to try to sell it, and some of it's taken off pretty well. Might have to take that to the next market. But here is that Moringa that I was talking about. So this was the number 2 Moringa of the Pruning Homestead last season, and we covered it with mulch and chicken wire, and when I uncovered it, I had this under there. Well, now there's 4 more, so that is pretty exciting. So that will grow. That could grow up to 6 or 7 feet tall if I let it. But I kept it kind of short last year, a little taller than me, but short. So that's pretty exciting. That'll really bloom out soon. Have not seen any flowers on them yet, or did we? But they make pea pods, really long pods as the seeds. So we'll see what happens. Next is our cinnamon basil. I had planted some of this right before the frost and thought it would be all right, but it got a little dark there, so I had some extras and put them in. This empty space here with weeds is actually turmeric under there. I'm praying that that's starting to root, and hopefully, since it's gotten hot so soon this spring, that'll start leafing up and growing. Last spring, you know, we were in the beginning of the shutdown, so it was cool and it didn't grow as fast. Brian's over here giving some fertilizer to the beets.
It's 34 inches.
Wow, that is a huge.
Here to here, it's 34 inches. That's one.
That's a cabbage, y'all. That's a cabbage.
That head's going to be that big.
Yeah. So some of that lavender that I showed you in the box, I decided to put in these big pots. Put several. I've never grown lavender past the seeding. I just couldn't get it to grow, but this year I had 3 trays, so I decided to put them in here, and they have started to grow a little bit taller. We haven't had a lot of rain, but we've been trying to keep them nice and wet. This one is popping up nicely, so hopefully I'll have 2 big huge trays or pots of lavender to harvest for sachets, for teas, all kinds of stuff. That's exciting. Let's see what we have here. This isn't an herb, but I guess you could make it an herb. I don't know if y'all know what this is. It is a celery plant. And if you've never had fresh celery off the out of the ground, it's so much different than when you eat it from the grocery store. It's very, very, what's the word? Pungent, but it is good. Chop it up, put it in salads, dry it, whatever you need to do. And then I'm going to take you over here to one of our big beds that Brian just built. And I have Mammoth Basil. Never seen it before in my life. Baker Creek, looking through the magazine, and there it was. And I said, I have to try that. These leaves are supposed to get as long as my forearm, and I can't wait to wrap a hamburger in that and either eat it with or without bread. And we have some more of the cinnamon basil, some echinacea. I put a couple different colors of echinacea in there. These seem to be slower than the ones I have in the front bed, which are actually those. I have those in the front bed, so they should grow up real tall. And then I have some more calendula. I'm sorry, some more chamomile. That's just moving right along. So the last thing that I've planted to try to brighten up the garden is this little bed. I put this in last year. We had some bricks that I had taken home from an on-site auction, and it's not as beautiful as I imagined, but it is working very well. That chamomile actually lived in there all year, all through the winter, and popped up first, so I put some more, which is doing okay. I'm not exactly pleased, but I'm very pleased with that. I don't know if y'all can see that. Look at all those buds. So with chamomile, the more you pop the flower tips off, the more flowers grow. And I use the flowers in my tea blends. I got some calendula behind them. I think maybe they just need a little food. So that is my herb gardens. I don't know if you can see that over there. I do have one last thing. See this row right here? Elderberries. We planted them last year. A friend from the auction gave me a bunch of plants, and I had bought one online, and they popped back up after the winter, which is pretty cool. I have some more to plant, and that's probably the next project. But yeah, hopefully we'll see some berries this year. That would be pretty cool. So I want to thank you for coming to my herb garden. You'll have a blessed day.
I noticed we got a few weeds growing in here, just in between the rows. I'm gonna take this Hoss wheel hoe, and we're gonna work it. Yeah, the guys over at Hoss Tools, I would say they are passionate about growing food and passionate about food independence. And I think what they did was they took a look at the average guy who wants to be more independent and wants food independence. And they said, what is the biggest struggle for that guy? And what's preventing him from getting out there and working his little piece of dirt and growing some food for his family? And I think they nailed it. I think they said weeding is the number one thing that keeps people from getting in the garden and growing food. And this wheel hoe, I think, is the thing that is changing people's lives. You know, I watched this thing. I looked at this wheel hoe for 2 years, right? And thought to myself, man, I bet that thing does a good job. And I watched people using it. And I listened to success stories. And so I finally broke down and I got it, right? Game changer, folks. Game changer. This wheel hoe is a game changer. You know, once a week, come out here, knock these little weeds down with these cultivator teeth, and you just wear them out. They can't keep up. You know, my first recommendation is always just plant something, right? Put it in a bucket, plant something, get your feet wet, figure out what you like to eat. Get something under your feet, you know. Start to understand what you're doing. But I tell you what, I am recommending this wheel hoe right here. It's just a game changer. You know, being able to come and work this dirt right here, knock these weeds down. You know, there's little bitty tiny weed seeds I can't even see, you know, unless I got down there looking. But just the fact that I could go in here, disturb that soil, disturb that germination cycle, it knocks them down. It knocks them down. Let's be truthful about some stuff here, right? This thing is a great design, and it doesn't wear you out. You know, I'm not, by no means am I healthy, right? You know, I'm probably 50 pounds overweight. But I could come out here and I could work this soil with this tool and talk to you on that camera, right? That's pretty awesome. I highly recommend this wheel hoe. I highly recommend Haas Tools. I think they got a great company going on over there. Man, they are innovative, doing a good job with their customers, treating people well. This stuff is right up, it's what I'm picking off of here. This is right up next to the onions that I would never cultivate right on top of those plants. So I'll just go in here and pull it by hand. It's chickweed. I can feed that to the chickens. They love it. But if I was Travis and Greg, I'd give you a 30-day grace period to try this wheel hoe out. And if you didn't like it, send it back for a full refund. That's what I would do if I was them. Because the proof is when you put that thing in the dirt, when you start cultivating that dirt with that wheel hoe, you'll never go back. Y'all, it's been another awesome day right here at Pruitt Homestead. Man, we've just been blessed time and time again, and we got to be thankful for that. We appreciate each of you coming and spending your time with us. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification button, and that'll let you know when we put out new content. Also, come find us over on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Surprisingly enough, I know TikTok. It's a great platform. And follow us over there. We appreciate that. Y'all have a great day. God bless. Keep our family in your prayers.